this is Riding with Ree, and in today's video we are going to be talking all about shopping for your first horse. Yes, so today's video is all about shopping for a horse, and specifically all about shopping for my first horse. So in the intro, I'm going to give you a little update on live things and how the actual horse search is going. And then we're going to dive into a quiz that I put on my Instagram stories asking you guys how you actually set up for your first horse and a couple of other fun questions. So we'll dive into that. I'm then going to tell you a few of the things I've already got. I actually have a saddle right here and a couple of other exciting things I'm going to show you and some of my favorite brands. And then we're going to go into my wish list. So the things that I know that I want to buy for the horse but haven't got yet. Before we dive into the main topics, I do want to acknowledge a post I put on my Instagram the other day about anxiety, and I just wanted to share that my anxiety has been really high lately, and I shared on that post a couple of the things that I'm doing to help reduce my anxiety in the hopes that if you're also feeling that way, that hopefully that post helps and makes you feel like you're not completely on your own. I realise this is an equestrian channel, but I'm also a human and so are you, so I think it's sometimes helpful to share that. So do go onto that post on my Instagram, I'll link it below if you want to see the things that I'm doing to help control my anxiety. And I actually thought about taking a little break from my YouTube channel and not posting this week, and I still might do that in the future, but you know, this channel is really important to me. I really enjoy making the content, so I didn't really want to give it up if I didn't have to, but I also know that hopefully you guys would not mind me taking a little break here or there if I felt like I needed it. All right, on to the horse search. So my coach and I have still been looking for horses. We've sort of written off visiting any during lockdown because obviously it doesn't feel like it's necessary and quite a few of them are far away. However, a boy popped up, a gelding I should say, popped up for me, and he was incredibly local the other day, like very, very close. So I did pop over to see him, and I was actually a little bit excited before I went. He seemed on paper like he would be perfect for me, and he is a lovely horse, but actually when I got on board, I found that he wasn't quite right for me and we just didn't gel. So I have no doubts he will make someone an absolutely lovely horse, but it's not quite for me. So the search continues. There's a horse that I've sort of earmarked. He's quite far away, so we'll wait until lockdown's over, and if he's still available, we'll go up, but otherwise it carries on. I had an interesting conversation with my coach just before we went into lockdown actually, where I was feeling a little bit impatient. I was feeling like I couldn't really find horses in my sort of criteria, and I started like wavering, and I looked at this amazing mare and she did tick all of my boxes, but she wasn't a gelding. And my coach called me and said, you know, do you really want a mare? Because yes, she looks great and things, but I haven't been looking at mares, I've been looking at geldings, and is this really what you want? Do you really want to bring home a mare? And of course the answer, if I'm being really honest with myself, is no, I don't want a mare, I'm just being impatient. So that was a really interesting moment in terms of level setting, and I mentioned this last week. I think you'll know the things that you are willing and aren't willing to compromise on, and when it comes to a head, you must know what those principles are. And it's really helpful actually to have someone alongside me saying, in the beginning you said you didn't want this, are you sure you've changed your mind? So that's how the horse search is going, and I will of course keep you updated. All right, let's go into these questions that I asked on my Instagram, because I actually got some really interesting responses from you all. So let me find those now. So firstly, I asked, when it came to buying equipment for your horse, did you mostly buy all at once or bit by bit? 25% of you said you bought all at once, and 75% of you said you bought bit by bit. The reason that I asked this question is because I've noticed actually I had a lot more stuff already than I thought, and I think it can be really tempting to go and want to buy everything brand new, but actually you only really need something when you really need it, and there is a merit to buying bit by bit. So my next question was, did you colour coordinate rugs/equipment? 57% of you said yes, and 43% of you said no. Now this isn't something I've really thought about before. I think I had like a pink grooming kit when I was a child, but apart from that, I've never really colour coordinated anything. I just bought whatever I could find, to be honest, and anything that was given to me I was happy to have. But I have been thinking about colours, and it's hard because I don't know what colour my new horse will be, but hunter green is one of my favourite colours, and I am yet to find a horse that would look bad on. I mean, there are other colours that would suit horses better, but hunter green was one that I quite liked actually. So I was just interested to see if you guys colour coordinated. So then I asked, if you did colour coordinate, what colours did you go for and what colour is your horse? So I thought this could just be a little bit of inspiration for everyone. So let me dive into some of these answers. Red and a piebald cob. I can see that working. Hot pink and a skewbald. orange and a chestnut, it actually goes really well. Do you know what? I have actually seen this. Orange and chestnut does look really nice. And if I can find any references on the internet for pictures of this, I will put them up. I've always gone maroon and navy, and that's been great for chestnuts, greys, bays, and dark bays. See, these are the things when you find colours that work for every horse, and especially if you have more than one horse, if you want to switch them over. Pink for Girly, so I know who this is. She has a bay horse with some white markings, and red for Smurf, who I believe is a dark bay. Red and navy on a skewbald. Dark bay, red really pops. I didn't really colour coordinate at first, but over time we went for a red theme. Blue and she's chestnut, blue and bay, orange and teal blue for a grey, red or green for bays. So it seems like orange is quite popular and red is quite popular. Baby blue for my lease horse who's black. Ooh, do you know what? Black horses are just beautiful. I feel like they're so rare. I never see them, but whenever I see an advert of a black horse, no matter what the advert says, I'm like, oh, imagine what it would be like to own a black horse. Did you budget for equipment before you bought a horse? This was an interesting question for me because I am budgeting right now, and boy, it is expensive. The rugs alone are racking up the prices. So 52% of you said yes, you did budget. 48% of you said you didn't, and maybe it's better not to. And if you're buying bit by bit, perhaps you don't even have to be honest. Did it cost more than you expected? There's no surprise what the answer to this question was. 75% of you said yes, it costs more than you expected. 25% said no. So yes, it is costing a lot, and actually I'll show you a few things I bought secondhand, and I've actually had a really good experience buying secondhand. Although there are certain things I would want to buy firsthand and not sort of scrimp on, there are other things I think, you know, you can go secondhand. And the equestrian world, like, everyone's buying and selling stuff all the time. There's new things coming out all the time. So I don't think you'd ever be short of supply of things. Okay, my final two questions were, what are your favourite equestrian brands for any equipment? I was just interested in this because when I was doing my wish list, and you'll see this in a bit, I was finding that certain brands were coming up again and again and again. Not necessarily brands that I had considered I really loved, but you just don't think about it. I think you just go straight to brands without thinking. So here we've got Shires, Harry Hall and HY, Le Mans and GS Equestrian, Red Gorilla, Premier Equine, Woofwear, Le Mans, Woofwear, Ariat, Black Country, Noble, Wavefork. Oh, I don't know them. I'd have to look them up. Shires, Premier Equine, Le Mans, Weatherbeater, Flexers. I know who that was. I actually love my Flexers. They are really good riding leggings. Like, I bought 2 pairs, one for competition and one for everyday, and they are brilliant. Just putting it out there. Don't just buy cheap because it's cheap, you will have to buy it again. Now, this is actually one of my justifications for buying more expensive things on my wish list, so that was good advice. Vivendi Apparel, Le Mans, Aztec Diamond, Legacy, Shires, Le Mans. It feels like the top 4 brands coming out here are Shires, Le Mans, Premier Equine and Ariat, and I personally love all of those, particularly Premier Equine and Ariat, as you'll see when I go through some of my own personal items. And my final question was, what is your favourite item to buy your horse? Because I think in going through this process, it's been really interesting to me what I found to be really exciting. So people are saying head collars, saddle pads, rugs, matchy sets, treats, rugs and boots, rugs, show ring, grooming items, saddle pads. Yeah, it feels like saddle pads, head collars, anything matchy and treats are the top answers for that. So thank you so much for filling that in. I do just find it really interesting to see how everyone else has already done this journey. A lot of you already have your own horses, so why not glean? So let's go into some of the items I already have. I'm going to start with my big ticket items. So if I just lean over here, it is my Kenton Masters saddle. So I bought this a few months ago for my loan horse, and I made sure that when I bought it, I bought one that had an adjustable gullet so that it would potentially be going to fit other horses that I would need in the future. And I also went for Kenton Masters because they're really good quality and they hold their value really well. So I did think, well, if I ever do need to sell it on, then I can do that. This was secondhand. I bought it from a saddler. It was £650. You can get Kenton Masters leather saddles for less than that. I would say a couple of hundred less. But at the time when I bought this, the supply was really low because of COVID, of new saddles, and that was having a knock-on effect on second-hand saddles. And so a lot of them had pushed the prices up. But it was in really good condition. I've kept it in really good condition. And when I do find my new horse, I'm going to get that saddler out, get her to have a look at this saddle with that horse and see if it fits them. And if not, then we can sell it on. It's not a problem. So that's my saddle. This one I am very excited about. So Facebook Marketplace has always been a bit of a dubious place to me, and I was never sure if I trusted it. But I saw a little while ago that someone put up Premier Equine travel boots and travel guard, and they were a really good price. And I love Premier Equine. And when I was thinking about what my horse needs right now, the first thing that came to mind was, well, I've got to get them home, which means I need to give them travel protection. So let me just show you. These were secondhand, but they are in such good condition. They're medium size, which on the website should fit any horse between 15.2 and 16.3, I think. Don't quote me on that. But that's sort of the size I'm going for. Look at this colour. I told you hunter green. I feel like this would suit any horse. Let me show you the tail guard as well. That's the tail guard. This one needs a little bit of a clean. It's got a little bit of mud, but the price was amazing. And I just think Premier Equine is such good quality. And with stuff like travel boots, I think, you know, I'm okay with spending a little bit more because obviously I want my horse to be protected. So if in 3 months time or however long it takes me to find a horse, these don't fit, then you can all laugh at me. But I am hoping that they are going to fit the new horse, and I am so excited for the day that I can pick up that horse after the vetting, which they will have passed, and pop them in my Premier Equine travel boots. So that's very exciting. It's also just long-term thinking. I do want to go out lots and do training and competitions and whatever, so you can't really go wrong with a set of travel boots, can you? I'm hoping that they fit. They seem pretty big, and from what I've read online, Premier Equine can run quite big, so I'm really hoping they fit whatever horse I do. And I am so impressed with the quality. I've seen Premier Equine rugs before and knew that I love them, but the travel boots are just as good, and honestly it's made me feel so much better about all of the Premier Equine products that are on my wish list because they are just fantastic. Honestly, I can't really fault them, and I love the colour. The other thing I have, this box is a grooming box that I also bought on Facebook Marketplace, just the box, really because I did look at my usual go-tos tack shops, but they didn't have any in stock because of COVID, so I went and bought one secondhand instead. And I'm not going to go through everything, it's kind of messy and there's a lot in here, but I don't know if you can see. I've got my tack cleaner, which you will have seen before. It's the Absorbing, which I love. This one. I've got my High Shine Detangler, which I love. All of these are on Equus. I've also got a Car and Day Martin Gallop shampoo. I do also have a Diamond Gloss. I can't remember the name of the brand, but I will tell you because I've been so impressed with that body brush. It's incredible. So I've basically got a grooming box of quite a few things, and I found that I did have a few body brushes, dandy brushes, hoof picks and whatever from childhood. So I'm sort of set from that point of view. I also have a tail bandage, so we're sort of set for the travel, and of course I have the tail guard. Typically a tail bandage would be fine for short journeys, and then use a tail guard if you are going on slightly longer journeys because they don't interfere with the circulation. So the other things I have are, I actually have a set of stirrups which I'd completely forgotten I'd had, but they were in a box of things from when I was a teenager that my mum made me come and collect because she was like, this has been in the garage too long, so it's now in my living room. But I bought a set of stirrup leathers a few months ago because I wanted a neck strap, and neck straps are expensive, stirrup leathers were cheaper, and you get 2 stirrup leathers out of it. So I have one that's been made into a neck strap, but actually now I have 2 stirrup leathers and 2 stirrups and a saddle, so it's sort of halfway there. So I have a few things to get me going, which is great, and I have a bunch of high vis stuff. I also have this, which is a little bit dirty now, but it's the first numb that I've owned as like an adult. It is a Lemur, I think it's a dressage pad, and Half Halt has their embroidery on it, so it needs a wash, but it's my competition numbness. So that's where I started, and that's everything I have so far. So I thought that was a pretty good starting point. Let's dive into this wish list. Okay, so here is my template, and by the way, if you wanted a template like this, I'm happy to make some and put them up on my Etsy or something. Just let me know. I just had a little bit of fun with the design. I thought it would make it look pretty. So first of all, I put together this rugging guide. There are so many rugging guides on the internet, so I just pulled together a few different options. I thought it's best to start with a rugging guide because then you can find out what kind of rugs you actually need and how many. And rugs is honestly one of the biggest purchases that I have to make. So let's start here. So you can see I've only gone down to -10 because it really never goes below that in the UK. If it did, it would be really out of the ordinary and would require a whole new rug or whatever. But We have zero fill, lightweight 100 grams, 250 grams, 300 grams and 400 grams for a stabled horse. And then turnout, it goes from about 100 to 300 grams. So we're playing in that area from nothing to about 300 to 400 gram weights. So with that in mind, I put together this list of stable and turnout rugs that I really liked. So if we start with the turnout rugs, what I've decided is I asked a lot of different people on a lot of groups and on my channels as well about liner systems. So a rug liner system is when you buy an outer rug and then you buy like liners, or like you buy sort of under rugs, like layers, a bit like base layers for humans. You buy them in different weights, you clip them to the under of the rug, and then you keep the outer rug and you have a bunch of liners in different weights, which can make that rug more versatile. And I asked a lot of people their opinion on this, and essentially the benefits of rug liner systems are that they are cheaper usually than buying loads of different rugs, but really it's the storage. So when you have rug liners, they take up less space than loads and loads of rugs, and we do have a finite amount of space. I'm at a full livery yard, so although we have rug racks in the stables, I only have one box of stuff, which would mean if I had loads of rugs, I might have to bring some home, and there's not necessarily space in the house. So that's why I looked into it. And also, you can wash rug liners in any washing machine, unlike a normal rug where you have to get it sent off to the cleaners because you have the outside that you need to protect. You can wash rug liners as much as you want, and I just thought that was a really appealing message. So if we start with, I've got the temperature guide down here, and that is how I decided to get my rugs. So I really loved this Rambo, which you can see here on the right. It's a Rambo with a 50 gram outer and an Air Max liner. See it here. It's really gorgeous. I also love that color. So it comes with this Air Max liner underneath, and it also comes with a 100 gram liner. Let me just go down to the description. So yeah, it's got the 50 gram outer, the 100 gram liner, and the Air Max liner. So it's a super versatile rug, and I was advised when looking at rug liners to start with the lightest weight possible, because you can always buy more rug liners to fill it, but you can't necessarily take away the outer shell. So if I had a horse who needed to go out in temperatures that require zero fill, I have my 50 gram outer. And yes, it is an expensive rug, £360, but I really trust Rambo. They're an expensive brand, but from what I've spoken to people about, they last for a really long time. The quality is sky high, and they're also a little bit lighter than some of the other turnouts in the liner system. And that was something to consider as well, because if turnout rugs get wet, they take a while to dry. So these are all things that I've been considering. So then we move on to 100 grams, which I have put down as the 50 gram and the Air Max liner. So it's the same rug as before, just putting one of the liners inside. So we're not spending any more money on that. If we required a temperature that needed 150 grams plus a neck, I have my 50 gram outer, my liner, and then my neck. So again, we're not spending any more money. If we needed 200 gram weather and a neck, I have my 50 gram Rambo outer, and then PE. So this is Premier Equine. I have already told you I'm a big fan of Premier Equine, and they do these amazing liners. So they look like this. So you can see that the liners look super simple. They're not like patterned or anything, because they're only going under rugs. And you can see where they clip onto the outside of your rug, the inside of your outer rug, and then they fasten just like normal, and you clip them on at the back as well. So I would add my 50 gram liner and my Premier Equine liner as well. Sorry, my 50 gram outer and my Premier Equine liner. And the same if we needed to go even heavier, I have my 50 gram outer, and then Premier Equine do liners in 100, 200, 300, and I believe possibly 400? 350, my bad. So I would add that in as well, and then it's an extra £70 for each of those liners. I think it can go up a little more depending on the weight, but essentially it's £500 for the turnout rugs, which sounds like such a lot of money, but when I did this, I actually calculated the cost of buying all of these rugs separately, and if you imagine that all of these rugs are at least £100 each, you are spending a lot of money if you're buying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rugs, upwards of £500. Whereas this is £500 solid, and it's getting liners that can also be used in the stables. And then if we go down to stable rugs, the fleece, I think it's so helpful to have a fleece. I think fleeces do not get shouted about enough. I love a fleece. They are such a versatile rug and one of my absolute favourites. I use fleeces when I travel horses, after exercise, before exercise, to dry them off after the rain, as a little layer. I probably wouldn't put them under other rugs because they can slip back, but they're one of my favourite kind of rugs, which is why I'm willing to spend a little bit more on them. So this Premier Equine fleece is gorgeous. I love the colour. It's that hunter green, and I was thinking about it as it will go with my travel boots if we travel, and it's just a gorgeous colour and it goes with so many horses. They do have them in other colours as well, but personally I think I'll get the green because it just goes with the boots, which are very similar to the ones he's wearing here. So perfect for traveling, really. Then for the 100 g, we have the 100 g stable rug from Premier Equine. And again, this is like starting at the bottom weight and then adding liners in to make it more appropriate for the temperature. So this is the 100 g rug. You can remove the neck and you can add liners underneath. So it's a super versatile rug, which is why I chose it. I really like Premier Equine's quality and I really rate them for stable rugs. So again, if we're in weather that needs 200 g rugs, I have my 100 g stable rug, 100 g liner, and you can see where this is going. 200 g liner, sorry, I've done my maths wrong, 300 and 350 g liner for the 400 one. And again, so much of this depends on what your horse is like. Some horses run hot, some horses run cold. This is purely a guide, and I certainly wouldn't be buying rugs before I've met my horse. For one, I don't know what size they are, but I also don't know anything about them. But I wanted to do the research so that when I do get my horse and I learn how much rugging they need and how many types of rugs they need, I have my go-tos. So that was all my rugs, and this is where the majority of my money is going on. And then miscellaneous items. So this, for me, I expected this to be a lot longer, but I realised because my horse will be on full livery, there's a lot of things that I don't need. I don't need hay nets, I don't need feed bowls, I don't need water buckets because all of that is supplied by the yard. I don't need a wheelbarrow or any tools because again, that is supplied by the yard. So it took away quite a few things that I thought I needed from my list, which was great. So to start with, I just need a bucket. And I've gone for good old B&Q on this one because I don't know if you've heard the joke, but like having a horse is like having a wedding. Like as soon as you say horse in front of it or equestrian, the price shoots up. So for me, simple things like buckets I can just get from places like B&Q. A plastic curry comb. I love a plastic curry comb and I don't currently have one, so I will just be buying a super simple one from Equus and Lincoln. Numbness. Honestly, I am quite brand agnostic when it comes to numbness. I know people get quite into certain brands or shapes or whatever, and I'm kind of like, if I like the numbner, I'll go for it. And we have a nearby tack store that has an amazing secondhand section, so I might look there for numbners, but I'm not going to buy any until I know the colour of my horse because I think that will affect what colours I want to buy. Tendon boots. So I'd probably put these on any horse if we go jumping, and I've always been a big fan of wolf wear tendon boots. It's the ones I've always had since I was a child, and they have these in black or white. I'd probably go for black ones unless I had a black horse, in which case maybe I'd get white ones because they make their legs stand out, but white ones get dirty really quickly, so I'd probably go for the black ones. Travel boots, I've already bought the Premier Equine ones. They were £40 for those 4 travel boots and the travel guard, so a total steal. Overreach boots, I do want some, but I don't know where from. I know that I like the rubber ones because they're so much easier to clean, but I don't know where I'm getting them from yet. Tail guard, I have head collar and rope. Surprise, surprise, there's a Premier Equine one, and if you can guess the colour, you've been paying attention. It's this gorgeous green one. I love it so much. It's fleece lined, it's really pretty. It will go with my travel boots and my fleece, and I just think it will go with any colour horse, so it doesn't matter what colour horse I get. And I would buy size full. I can do this before I get a horse because I know that my horse won't have a smaller head than full, so unless I give up the whole thing and get a Shetland, which honestly could happen, speak to me in a couple of months and see where I'm at. And then finally, bridle and fly mask. So bridle, I don't know yet, it really depends on the horse. Maybe they will sell tack with the horse, so I'm not buying that. And then a fly mask and all of that stuff, as we've got summer coming up, but I have a little bit more time with that. So that is my wish list for now. I'm sure I've forgotten something, and if I have, please do let me know in the comments because, you know, I feel like you guys will know that better than I will. But thank you so much for watching. I will of course keep you updated on the horse search and everything else. I hope that you're enjoying these chit chat videos. I had some really nice DMs from people saying how they were watching, like someone was listening to my video on the way home in her car like a podcast, and I thought that was really cool. So if you're finding these videos helpful or interesting, let me know. And hopefully we're getting back out there after lockdown, doing some exciting things, seeing some more horses. I appreciate your support. I love this channel so much. And you're all just the best community ever. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.